Welcome in, everybody, to race number 3 of the PGR Lite Series. Here we are tonight with the trucks once again at Talladega. The first race we had them at Daytona, and that was quite the race to watch, including last week with the photo finish between Joshua McCullough and Michael Triscaro. It's sure to be another fantastic race here tonight, another one full of chaos and God knows what else. But here I am, Landon Veleke in the booth once again. Joining me is Matthew Baker on race control and booth duties. How you feeling about this one tonight, Baker?
It's going to be another one. 45 trucks coming out here, back in the trucks at Talladega. Put on some good racing on Sunday night. Going to go with the same type of weather setup that we had for it and Friday night in John Ward's series. So it's a low track temp and overcast with basically zero humidity. So you're going to see that third lane start to work.
Well, hopefully we do. We're going to go and go into the grid for you right here. We got 44 trucks, I believe, or 45, something around that. Once again, out here on this racetrack. Sean Corbett with the pole for Hyper Motorsports tonight. He is joined on the front row by Dawson Wise for the Jack Shack. Michael Triscaro will be starting in third place. David Flanagan behind his teammate Dawson Wise for Jack Shack in fourth place. Chris Walker in fifth. Chase Mistretta sixth. Wyatt Gray will be seventh. Michael Menchaca eighth. Chris Melton ninth. And Brian Hennings rounds out the top 10.
11th, you got Dalton Steele for R&R. Asher Little, that's a new name, coming out here in 12th. 13th for Hyper Motorsports, Heath Job. Mark Math in 14th. Richard Elliott, 15th. Kenneth Gallman in 16th. Mark Vondell for McCullough Motorsports in 17th. Brock Westman for PGR in 18th. Stephen Miles in 19th. And Sean Hillcoats rounding out your top 20.
21st will be Tanner Kasinger for the, I suppose NBG, something to do with your team, Baker. I'm not sure about all that. But Evan Carlbahn for Jack Shack 22nd. Jeff Scott 23rd, and Wesley Lynch will be 24th. 25th will be Ambrose Knable for Blind Squirrel. Raymond Hanneman 26th. Quentin Steinbach 27th. Robert Blair 28th. Danny Barnes 29th, and Teresa Spiker 30th.
I can assure you he is not a prospect. But 31st, Minazzi Major. 32nd, Axel Smith. James Wagner, series owner for R&R, and 33rd, Ryan Borboom. 34th, Jonathan Herbert for Hyper Motorsports. Look for another good run out of him in 35th. Tucker McClendon, 36th. Brian Kaiser, good to see him back out here in 37th. Greg Speicher for VRX in 38th. Luke Freeman, 39th. Ryan Wingate in 40th. Josh Giambroni in 41st. Edward Fielder in 42nd. Joey Galati, 43rd. James Waring, 44th. And rounding out your 45 truck field, doesn't look like he made the grid. That is Zachary Williams.
Pull up your race info real quick. Race number 3, as we said, the Craftsman Truck Series, pulling out for this series once again. 50 laps, 55% in the fuel tank, 3 tire sets, no fast repair, fixed setups as always, and 3 overtime attempts if we have to use them all. I would hope we don't have to, because especially like last week, Baker, that was a little bit of a rough one to watch, but you know, it's a little bit of inexperienced guys and trying to all make a name for themselves here in the Light Series, which some of them have. You know, Austin Green, I mean, he had a name anyway, Josh McCullough as well, but it's these guys in the back that are new to PGR, new to money racing, just trying to find their way up to the front.
Yeah, trying to find their way up to the front, but you're going to definitely see some people high flying out here tonight. I think this is going to be a good one for sure. 44 drivers basically going to go off the flyer for the payouts here, but you know, the payouts per week matter, but I think, you know, the points are going to matter just as much. And Dawson Weiss, Michael Triscaro looking to have another good point stage as the pace car pulls down.
Sir Sean Corbett and Dawson Weiss just making it into this race. He was off for the week. He was up, I believe, in Columbus, Ohio, where the Ohio State game and Tennessee game. Unfortunately, he's a Tennessee fan, and that didn't really go well for him. Hopefully, he can lift his spirits here tonight. Sean Corbett going to lead them into the restart box to take the green flag here in race number 3 for the PGR Lite Series. Here we go.
Turn your mic up, they said in the chat.
Out of turn number 4, Dawson Wise takes the lead. Teammate David Flanagan from Jack Shack outside of him. They're leading the lines right now. Chase Mastretta and Sean Corbin are the lead pushers. Kind of got a fight going on. Mastretta gets David Flanagan really loose right there, but he's going to clear him down to the bottom in the third one. Yeah, there's maybe. Hopefully I'm not speaking too soon. Kind of a controlled start. A little bit of patience being used by some drivers. It looks like Rocky West going down the back. I think it's 3 wide, but not really much going on there. He doesn't have a lot of help to get there. But yeah, just a little 2x2. Guys kind of filing down to the bottom. Nice to kind of see the start here, Baker. A little bit of calmness being used.
Yeah, a little bit of calmness and just some heavy hitters that aren't going to be in the field. One of our race winners, the first week winner, you see Flanagan go up to the top side, but Austin Green, he did not make it out tonight, but he is secured in the championship as long as he starts the rest of the races of the regular season. He is not out here tonight. And Joshua McCullough also looks like he didn't make it tonight, so both of our winners not out here tonight. They secured themselves into the championship. They locked themselves in, and they said, you know what, see you later. I'm going to save my money this week, take the drop week, and move on to the next week.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, they've got their wins. They have that drop. Chase Mastretta is all over David Flanagan's lover. He has gotten him sideways so many times, just trying to push him back to the lead. I don't know what's going on. It might be a netcode issue or some sort of. I'm not sure. Chase Mastretta is very aggressive. He's always got something to go out there and prove, and maybe he's just trying to prove that he's a good pusher. Who knows? He's got a third line developing up here. Not exactly sure who that is. The 71 car right there, followed by. Maybe Michael Clay, Michael Chalk, something like that. I'm sorry, you know, there's a lot of these new guys here. And Kenneth Gallman is going to take the lead on the third line. Looks like that's really good work here. He's all the way clear and should clear down if he wants to, but he's not going to. And Wesley Lynch behind him, that 33 truck, is not going to be a fan of that because he's going to be getting hot and probably is going to be screaming at him, get down, I need my temps. But he didn't do it, and that might cause this third lane to die.
I mean, it rolled to Wesley Lynch, Kenneth Gallman making a statement on the high lane. I mean, they got 5-6 trucks now deep pushing there. Flanagan getting a good push back from Chase Mastretta. It looked like a little bit of netcode there in the middle lane. They were jawing, obviously, enabled Chase's chat, and they started talking immediately. Yeah. Flanagan saying that if you're going to turn me, and it just didn't happen, so...
Yeah, Chase doesn't have a shortage of work. That's for sure. When he is out there racing, if he has something to say, he's going to make it known. And good for him. You know, we need people like that. He's going to hop up to the third lane, it looks like, and try and get a push. Not really sure if that's going to be a good decision for him. At least he's going to give him more temps. He might have been getting hot behind David and just needed his temps back. Sean Corbin, Dawson Wise leading the two lines, just how we started this race, and Chase Mastretta leading the third line right here. A little bit of 3x3 racing, and it's actually going pretty well right now. There's 5 cars up there in the top lane, and everyone else just kind of sitting where they are. He's going to get split. They just split Chase Mastretta 4 wide, and Chase is going to go to the back. I don't even want to know what he's saying right now. I know he's not too pleased about it.
I think he's in disbelief.
He probably is. I know he's not going to. Knowing Chase as my teammate, he's not going to be happy about that. He's most likely screaming certain obscenities at people. But, Wesley Lynch blows up in the top lane in turn 2, and that's going to cause a little bit of wreck. Raymond Hanneman is around, and wow, we kind of got away with one right there. That was a small accident. Take a look back here to Raymond Hanneman, because he blew up right in front. But Wesley Lynch blew up right in front of Raymond Hanneman right here. That's exactly what we were saying, though, Baker. You know, he needed his temps pushing Kenneth Gallman there, and when he didn't clear down, I know he didn't really have the opportunity to right there, but that's what happens. You know, that if you can't control your temps, you're not given an opportunity to control them, you're just going to blow up, and that's exactly what happens. Raymond Hanneman has nowhere to go. He's going to turn Lynch down into Chris Melton. He might have received a little damage. Lynch straight right hook into the wall. Raymond Hanneman's going to get clipped by Chase Mastretta, but is going to spin it back kind of to the outside, get a little bit of a tap from behind right there, and honestly probably going to get away with this one. That should have been a much bigger wreck right there, Baker.
Yeah, we got away with it for sure. Looks like Menchaca took a little bit of damage there. Chase just a tad, doesn't look like much, but unfortunate because they were looking really strong in that third lane. Just needed to manage the temps to keep them up there.
Now we're going to take an onboard view of Raymond Hanneman and what he saw right in front of him as Wesley Lynch blew his engine. Right in front of him, nowhere to go. Straight into the back, going to get spun and get a little airborne right there, but he does a fantastic job of holding the brakes down and not getting hit any further. There goes Wesley Lynch by him, the now destroyed Wesley Lynch. Yeah, you know, you hate to see it, you know, but at least that wreck, you know, the wrecks we've been having in this series recently, they've been kind of caused by the drivers, in a way, but that one was not. That was something nobody can really control. You know, I mean, you can obviously control your temps. We always have to, but so for something like that to happen at the front of the field and for everyone to avoid, really, except for Raymond Hanneman, he had nowhere to go. Yeah, very impressive job by the field. I mean, it's a big field here tonight, and they just did a great job, everyone involved, of missing this crash right there. That should have been way bigger than it was.
Yeah, definitely should have been way bigger than it was, but we got away with one there. Just unfortunate. Was really good racing up front. Was glad to see some new names pushing up front, seeing this track come to life there in the early stages. But Evan Carbone, he had some wheel issues in the beginning. He's going to be going around getting his laps back. Maybe that's a stroke of luck for him because it happened to Mike last week. You know, he was 4 laps down, came back, and was able to take home the P2.
Yeah, you know, the superstitions work in weird ways, and Mike had a look at winning that race if it wasn't for an awesome surge on the top line by Sean Corbett pushing Josh McCullough. But Evan, as long as he gets his laps back here and navigates his way back through the field as good as he can, he's definitely got to look at it. Here's Evan Carlon. I was told that I had to pull up his little driver card on the broadcast. He also wants an interview at some point. But there it is, and for anyone wondering, that is a picture of me. For some reason, he decided to put that as his picture, as his driver card for the broadcast. That's, I guess, some joke going on between everyone. I'm not the biggest fan of it, as you can imagine, but there he goes, around the top line, getting his laps back. Still under caution here, obviously. We've got about 3, probably coming up when we go right here. Dawson Wise, Dave Flanagan, the Jack Shack teammates leading. Once again, Michael Chisegaro's up here. He's going to be 4th, it looks like. Good start for him, a really good qualifying for him up in P3. He was in our chat prior to the race begging for his lap to be a good one, and it sure was. You know, you want the track position in this series 100%. You need that because you don't want to be in the hornet's nest all the way in the back. You don't want to have to deal with any of that. You just want to be at the front, stay at the front, and see what you can do with yourself up there.
Yeah, it definitely is. Looks like Carlton had to come down for pit road service and get some fuel.
Well, if you run around the track, get your laps back like that, you're definitely going to need it. For those who don't know, not to call Baker out on this, Matthew Baker is sick. If he sounds a little different, I'm going to
this is true.
Defend him of how he sounds. If he sounds a little different, that itself is not an audio issue. I know we've been having audio issues. I am still new to this, and probably still having them right now. But Baker's a little sick. Wish him the best, obviously. Hopefully it's not the flu that's been going around like crazy everywhere, it seems like. But yeah, he's still man enough. He wanted to come in here. He wanted to race control, and he was coming in the booth to watch his Lite Series with us and announce it with me, thankfully. It helps so much having someone else up here in the booth with me, and it's always entertaining having him up here. The field is doubled up out of turn 2. As we said, Dawson Wise, Dave Flanagan, Sean Corbett, Michael Chiscaro, Chris Walker. Jack Shack's got a strong presence up here. I believe there's only 3 of them in this race, and all 3 of them are in the top 5 right now. That's really good for them. Brian Hennings, Wyatt Gray, Kenneth Gallman, Christopher Melton, and Heath Jobe is in P10, or it might be Dalton Steele because that position keeps switching around. Either way, a good run for both of them. Dalton Steele's, as far as I'm aware, pretty new to money racing. He came in with the R&R guys, Chris Melton and Jamie Wagner, and he got his first PGR podium last week. He did a fantastic job in that race to round off that P3. Chris Melton had, if I'm not mistaken, he had a few prior to that as well. So it's a new team that's kind of been formed, and they're here kind of making their presence known.
Yeah, they are. And one of those, the series owner, James Wagner, had an unfortunate incident there. Coming to pit road, it looked like all of his wheel disconnected, gassed it up and just turned it straight into the wall, blew up, and disconnected. So unfortunate for him.
We're going to see if we... It says something about Josh Ambroni and James Wagner right before we go green right here. Let's take this, speed this up a little bit if we can before we go green. Yeah, it's something just, wow, straight into the wall going into pit road. Hate to see that. Appreciate you mentioning that. We're going to go back green right here. David Flanagan, Dawson Wise leading the line once again. In the restart box, here we go for attempt number 2 of some green flag racing. Going to lead the line and said, okay, jump for both lines. For both of them. David Flanagan timed it well. I'm sure Dawson counted it down for his teammate in the restart box, saying 3, 2, 1 now. Helps everyone get coordinated within the team and everything. But now David's really dropped back right here. He's down 3 rows back to his teammate Chris Walker on the bottom.
Yeah, bottom side surging really well, but here comes a push from Michael Triscaro to the back bumper. There's 2 cars that I'm looking for. They're both hypercars tonight. It's Heath Job and Sean Corbett. Corbett's been doing really well pushing, and Heath Job's been up there for wins, and just has had either someone else make a mistake or, you know, I'm just making a push on the outside too hard to Kenneth last night. But I mean, he is running up front all of these races, so he just keeps staying up front. That look's going to turn his way. But you see Brock Westmoreland, he's going to take it up top of 3 wide. That is another Jack Shack car, or sorry, Hyper Motorsports car pushing him on the high side. Look at that run the third lane gets.
Yeah, that's a big push from Danny Barnes and Dalton Steele to Brock Westmoreland. Chris Melton might get up behind his teammate Dalton Steele right there. See if they can make something happen. Maybe try and make a split 4 wide. You never know what you're going to get with this series, that's for sure. But shout out Sean Corbett, like you said. He's one of the funniest and most down-to-earth people in money racing. It's really awesome to see him out here having fun, doing a great job. As we said, he's always up front. He's figured out something in qualifying too. His qualifying, it's like he's a threat to the normal, like Malik Ray, Cody Nagels, you know, the guys that always like.
He's got something figured out. I don't know what it is, but it's a couple hundredths, and that is huge. Absolutely. Huge in this car.
Yeah, shout out to Corbett once again. Michael Triscaro is now leading the middle lane, followed by Brian Hennings, who is another very underrated driver. I made mention of him last week about just what an extremely underrated driver Brian Hennings is. He's always up front. He's always consistent. Does he get wrecked? Sure, we all do. But here he is once again up there. Big move in the back. I'm not sure who that was trying to start down to the bottom. Looks like people are late in the 3rd line right now. Because a few of them are kind of dropping back down to the middle. Raymond Hannigan's back up here. He's involved in that wreck. But very minor damage, and he's going to hop up to the 3rd in front of Axel Smith and behind Chris Melton. He's going to try and go to the front. He didn't want to have to be involved. Like, you know, he was kind of close up in the front anyway when that wreck happened. But he doesn't want to be involved in the Hornets' nest, as you can see. He's trying to make his move back to the front.
Scarrow getting real sport. Brian Hennings there. 3rd in line in the middle. Brian Hennings, like you said, another underrated driver we have out here. We're getting to the point, Landon, where you can get all 40 trucks out here, and any one of these trucks can win, or cars, or it doesn't matter what facet of racing is. Some have better chances than most, but most of them will be able to win this race. But this 3-wide action really picking up right now. I bet you Mike's pretty hot. He wants Flanagan to clear if he can to the bottom. He's not going to get it, though. Brock Westmoreland getting a big push from Danny Barnes. He's going to have to chill his temps down. But you got 7 trucks up top trying to push around and get Brock Westmoreland clear to the bottom.
Yeah, and another thing, David probably stayed up right there just to try and force the middle lane, or excuse me, the 3rd lane on the outside to keep it up there. That's something you can do. It's like a chessboard. You know, playing checkers, you're trying to add as many people to the middle as you can so that leader of the top lane does not clear down. And that, because that forces them to stay up there and forces their pusher to get hot. As you see Danny Barnes on the top right there, he's obviously hot. I mean, he's been pushing Brock for laps here, multiple laps, and you saw the gap he was leaving right there trying to get his temps back for a push down this back straightaway. He is giving it, but not good enough. As you saw Dawson Wise move back up now, that's just compromising the 3rd lane even more.
Netcode there between the bottom and middle lane. That's Chris Walker pushing Sean Corbett on the bottom side. JSR trucks lined up side by side right now and front to back. Michael Triscaro going to give a big push of Flame. Again, if he gets cleared, does he go to the top 3 wide? A little bit of shuffling towards the middle of the pack. They keep it together. Oh, you see the 3rd lane really dying off right now, but 4 trucks. Brock Westmoreland clears down to the middle line. This 3rd line's going to fall apart.
Yeah, there's lots of weird activities going on back here. It's kind of hard to keep up. Something must have happened. There must have been some checkup, something that mixed everyone up back here. They're trying to sort themselves back out now, which they are doing to their credit. Good for them. Danny Barnes is now stepping up. At least he's getting his temps now right, but the sacrifice of that is he's going backwards. And Axel Smith is behind him, going to try. Whoa, there we go. Greg Spiker is going to get turned right there. It looks like, once again, a small accident that we just had right there. Just a one-truck spin, it looked like, by Greg Spiker. Just some miscommunication, another little checkup of something happening on that third lane, and you kind of expected it. It just took them about half a lap for them to actually go ahead and wreck. Let's take a look at a replay right here. For Greg Spiker, if we're able to, I'm not sure. It looks like he blinked out right there. I'm trying to get a view of it. Let's go back to Axel Smith in this wreck. I knew he was involved with it.
Yeah, it just looks like Spiker was on the top of 3. There's a big checkup on the top. He went to go middle, didn't know there was a car in the middle, and just kind of turned himself off the nose.
Yeah, hate to see that. That's the call from race control right there. I'm assuming Greg Spiker will receive an EOL for that. Let's take this to the above view. See what Baker just explained to us right here. So Danny Barnes is really slow right here on the top lane. Axel Smith, it looks like he's just going to try and line up with him. But he doesn't push him. And that, I guess, just throws him off in the back. Oh yeah, Greg tried to make a move down. Chops Joey Galati off right there. Not even close to clear. Like, Luke Freeman's going to be involved right there. Get a little bit of nose damage. But Greg Spiker's just going to do a little half spin right up on the wall a little bit. Blink out, of course. But it looked like nobody else was involved in this accident right here. That's very nice to see, but it's like we're kind of lining up for something. I feel like we're probably going to be lining up for a very big one at some point.
A really big one. I'm waiting for it.
Oh yeah, you know it always happens. It's going to be somewhere at some point. Here's Luke Freeman. Let's see if we can go on board with him, see what he saw in this accident. I'm not sure if Spiker was trying to go down or just might have gotten a little loose right there. But on board with Luke Freeman, it looks like it wasn't really an aggressive move down.
No.
I would hope not, considering how late of a move it was. Like he was nowhere close to clearing Joey Galati right there. So it might have just been a little bit, just didn't know Galati was there or something. But here we are. Here's Greg back on the track. It looks like he's got a little bit of a left rear dent in the quarter panel and some right side damage still right here. Not sure if he's already pit to try and get some repairs done. He's back here with the field. But yeah, good. Another little small crash. And so far, this race is a lot cleaner than we've had. And I think, you know, it's not a secret. You know, like, obviously, the people that have watched the past 2 races, they've seen, like, you know, these races have been, how do you put it politely? You know, they're just kind of wreck fests, I guess. The first one was all right. Last week was pretty bad, but it was made up for by a really cool finish. So far tonight, it looks like these guys have kind of learned their lesson. We've had 2 small crashes, one of which wasn't even because of a move that someone made. And we're coming up on halfway through the race at lap 25. I'm impressed with these guys, Baker. This has been a lot more clean, and we've had a lot more consistent 3-wide kind of racing without the drama to go along with it.
Yeah, and Carbone looks like he's got yet another lap back. He's got one more lap to get back, and he'll be back in this fight. And be another car, be 41 trucks on the lead lap. And you got the former teammates. They're going to be lined up. On the bottom, Chase Mastretta going to be been pushed by Dawson Weiss. They had some choice boards a couple of weeks ago. I think they made up, and they're fine now. But Sean Corbett and Ambrose, I think those are probably my 2 favorite people on the service. They are probably the two funniest people I've listened to on the service.
Oh yeah, there's when Corbett. I tell you a story about Sean Corbett. It was after, I want to say, a McCullough race one night, and he had his camera on. Well, Sean Corbett, if you've seen it when he has his driver camera on during PGR races or anything, he races in this, like, it's like a little subset of a barn, because he owns like horses and things. So his rig is in like this little office space of a barn, and his horse stays like right next to that room. And apparently horses, they sleep like standing up or whatever. There's been numerous occasions he'll have his camera on and he'll start complaining and just whining about something. It's like, what happened? His horse fell asleep and ended up backing its rear end through a window that is between its stable and his little rig space. That's just always something that will forever be funny to me. When I was in there that night, just happened to see a horse just start falling through a window and wake itself up by doing it. But he loves that horse, and he's giving that horse a show, I guess. Looking through that window or whatever, seeing his owner right up here in the lead, in the mix of things, that's really good. And Ambrose Knable, I mean, there's honestly no words for Ambrose. He's always got something to say. He's always just hilarious. I remember seeing him drink a beer. I think it was a Miller Lite or something on an R&R broadcast. Even his little thing, his little driver description always says, even a blind squirrel finds a beer every once in a while. He has fun when he's out here, and that's honestly what it all boils down to. It's really cool to see that. Here we are, Chase Mastretta and Josh Jambroni with a new paint scheme, leading the lines right here on the top and the bottom. Dawson Wise is going to give a big push to Chase Mastretta right here. Push in the clear of Josh Jambroni. Really good push, like we said right there, by Dawson Wise. Sean Corbett's going to end up filing up next to Josh Jambroni. Wouldn't be surprised to see Dawson Wise try and clear up in front of Jambroni right here, just to try and take that lead back, or maybe he's in good graces with Chase. Well, never mind. He topped right up out of turn two. Going to get a push from Jambroni. But I do see that Mastretta and Jambroni are actually working together in this in our voice chat right here in the PGR Discord, including Wyatt Gray, Tucker McClendon, and Mike Triscaro. So that's kind of a good group of guys to have around. And they're all up here at the front. That's not a team per se, but I mean, they're all on different teams for that matter, but they're working together, and a solid group of guys will definitely be a threat towards the end of this. Dawson Wise getting pushed to the lead by Jambroni. He's clear of Chase, but he's not taking it. Now he does. They always do it right when I say they're not doing something, but there it is. Wise and Jambroni, the leaders of your two lines of the one.
Yeah, big push there on the bottom side for Chase. As you saw Dawson get clear, Josh in that Corona number 49, he was going to help me race control tonight. I told him, no, hop in there and race, so I'll help you out on Thursdays. So thank Josh for wanting to get in and help us out for race controls, and we're going to get him in here and show him the ropes. But a big push on the top side. Landon doing a really good job leading that top line. We got some bonuses that we have coming out tonight. At lap 32, I picked position 26. That is position 26. That is going to get a random $10. And there won't be a caution for that or anything. And then best save determined by you and me gets a $5. So we're going to have to go through the race and determine that. And we'll cast our vote whenever someone makes a big save. And then the last award is going to be the Ambrose Award, $5 going to the car most laps down that finishes the race and takes a checkered flag.
See, Ambrose even has awards named after him now. Not a good one per se, but I'm sure it's all in fun. He enjoys having his name on that award. I'm not sure who's leading those rewards right now, at least especially the incident limit, the laps down. But Dave Flanagan's now cleared with a push from Michael Triscaro to the lead. He's got Wyatt Gray behind him. Wyatt Gray's, there he is again, he's just always here, always a threat at the front of these things. He almost won the first race, had a look at last week's. Here he is again, he's right there on the outside line. No threats from a third lane out back. They're kind of messing around in the back, but not much really going on. Oh, they were wrecking in the back, it looked like right there. Was that Teresa Spiker?
Big,
just went
big
around.
hit.
That was wild, right as the camera cut. Yeah, it's Teresa Spiker. That engine has expired on her truck. Ambrose Knable there at the bottom. I'm not sure what happened right there. There was just 3 trucks on the top lane, and all of a sudden they someone got loose and got hooked or whatever. Let's take a look at it. I'm gonna have to back this up all the way. I do apologize. This is Quentin Steinbach and Teresa Spiker up here on the third lane. Just the two of them. That overhead view. Steinbach's really close to the wall here. Spiker already has some rear damage on her car. She's going to try and go down to the middle and loses it into Steinbach. Going to spin him down the racetrack. They're both going to go into the bottom line right there. Steinbach looks like going to save it. Big hit to the outside wall by Teresa Spiker.
That's my save of the night right now is Quentin Steinbach. Holy cow.
Good for him. Right there, he's still trying to save that thing. And he does. I mean, when you get kind of hooked in the left rear like that, it's pretty difficult to save that sometimes. But he did. I'm kind of speechless on this one, Baker. I'm not really sure what to call that.
Yeah, I don't know if she lost it or if she was frustrated with where he was running up in the wall, but nonetheless gets in the left rear and straight up into the wall.
Yeah, just a kind of wild thing to see. I would hope she just got loose right there. And trying to go down to the middle, if you could refresh my memory on what the track temp is tonight, I don't believe it's anything too hot to cause the tires to
around 70. Let's see, 74 right now, 75.
Man, big. Yeah, what a save by Steinbach. She blinked out momentarily. Still going. Unfortunately, like we said, the engine has expired on that car, so her night will be done. Let's take a quick onboard with her. Actually, you know what? Let's do Quentin Steinbach first. Let's see how his hands were maneuvering that save in his car. His hook turns it right. Is assisted on the bottom lane right there, hitting him, but yeah, I mean, he managed to save. He's got a little bit of left front damage. You can see the hood caved in up a little bit right there, but nothing a little bit of time won't fix, I don't believe. But yeah, what a save, and once again, a small crash. That happened basically in the back of the field right there. You see Steinbach in the pits momentarily. Raymond Hanneman is taking the lead. He was the recipient of the honey bun last week. Unfortunately, no one came up with another idea because I don't have the money to keep sending out random objects, especially internationally, like I had to do with Raymond Hanneman. But like we said, we got the awards from Danny Barnes and the Hyper Shack right there. For at least, you know, we've got these incentives. Everyone loves the incentives when we go out here, because the Lite Series, you know, it is competitive. It is this, it is that, of course, but it's also meant for fun. And these guys, as far as I know, they do have fun. Obviously, you have the Chase Mastrettas and a few others that are going to take exception to some things on the racetrack, and a little bit of beef here and there. People get into it, but at the end of the day, people like this series, as you can tell. I mean, what a turnout on a Monday night that we've had for 3 weeks in a row. Christmas is in 2 days, mind you, and we still have 45 trucks here in the field. It's great. It's really good to see that. Raymond Hanneman, Mark Math, Danny Barnes, Tanner Kasinger, and David Flanagan is your top 5. They're going to line back up here for 1 to go to the restart. Shout out to him. Raymond Hanneman, he's another one of those guys that I think is pretty underrated, just racing with him. Timing, you know, here and there. He doesn't race that often on Thursdays or anything like that, but when he races, he's usually another threat out there. He's someone you can keep your eye on, for sure, as an independent.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're going to take the 1 to go here on the bottom, Raymond Hanneman. I used to run for BAR with Aubrey Thompson and Justin Mills back in the day. Took a hiatus from money racing. He's back, though. Good to see him in this Lite Series. Been out here for the last 3 weeks. I'd love to see Aubrey Thompson and Mills get back on it, but I know they they've been done with money racing for a little bit. Thompson came back from McCullough Motorsports for a couple weeks, but he's taking another hiatus. Kasinger trying to get up here and prove me wrong with the MBG prospect. I still don't know where that's coming from, but you know, it's all fun and games. But Mark Math, he's going to be leading this top lane. A couple fresh faces up here in the front, and we'll see how they're able to handle the pushes here.
Yeah, for sure. Kasinger, Danny Barnes right there. He was heading all the way to the back before that wreck with Teresa Spiker happened. Now he's up, finds himself in third. He's going to be the lead pusher on the bottom though. Raymond Hanneman. Luke Freeman is up here. He was involved in a wreck earlier with Greg Spiker. Got a little bit of nose damage from that. Looks like he's on the fix it. Nice truck he has right there as well. For that. He's in the Christmas spirit, that Coca-Cola Christmas spirit. Like to see that coming up on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. These guys all out here trying to have some fun before Christmas, go spend times with their families and all that, have a good time then. But right now we have a race to settle. We are approaching the halfway lap right now. Only 3 cautions so far. It's been a relatively clean race. And like I said, we'd love to see that. Raymond Hanneman and Mark Math are going to be leading them into the restart zone right here with Danny Barnes and Tanner Kasinger as the lead pushers. Hanneman's going to take off. It looks like it's going to be a big jump for him right there on the bottom. Danny Barnes is also way ahead. Well, not that far ahead. The camera's receiving. Big jump for Hanneman. He's carling clear the field right now. Mark Math's going to try and receive that push from Kasinger. Kasinger was one of those that was up front last week in this race, but he was aggressive.
To say the least.
Yeah, he was aggressive, so he ain't gonna let up on Mark Math. As you can see, Juscaro's looking to try and split him right here if they think's better of him. He's gonna stay in line. But that push was not good enough for Mark Math. There was just too much of a gap. That jump from Hanneman right there is headed to 3, and they're gonna lose a little bit more right here. Danny Barnes has a chance of clearing, and he's not gonna be able to. Dalton Steele, Christopher Melton, R&R boy is gonna try and take the 3rd lane. Richard Elliott as well. Looks like we've got a 3rd lane up there trying to develop. Mike just keeps looking right there under Kasinger. He's just leaving too much of a gap right there in that middle lane. And Mike's going to take advantage of it. If there is a hole, someone's going to take it. Like, that's just how we race. You can't be doing that right here. Flanagan's going to hop up in front of Mark Math and see what Mark can do for him. Brian Hennings and Michael Juscaro are going to be leading the top now.
Oh, big block from Kasinger. I would pull inside if I was Juscaro. Now he's going to push him along. I don't think that was the right move. He needs to move to the middle, and it's going to clog up now. Here goes, oh, man, big block to the outside. I don't know who that is, but big block to the outside. It's going to let the bottom side really surge. 4 trucks are going to get clear on the bottom.
Yeah, that kind of killed David Flanagan. He was leading the middle, and everyone just left him. They all wanted to go to the 3rd lane. And for what Michael Juscaro thought was going to be a good move for him has ended up probably going to be a bad one. Oh, we're wrecking right there. Someone's not clear.
One off.
Just one spin right there. That was Brian Kaiser, I believe it was. Take a quick look at that. Try to get to the bottom right here and just not clear.
Yep, we're still green too. Still green.
We are green. Back line. Mike Juscaro said he's gone all the way to the back. We've got PGR boys Brian Hennings and Brock Westmore as support cars. Him. Looks like everyone just kind of gave up on the 3rd line right there, except for Josh Zamperoni, Mark Math, Tanner Kasinger. Take it back to the front here. Raymond Hanneman and Wyatt Gray. Here he is, taking the lead once again in a PGR Lite Series race. Good for him. He's just coming out here and proving himself to be worthy as a threat in front of this whole field. Luckily, he cleared right there before Dawson Wise had a chance to get down. Big hit from Hanneman. Wyatt Gray. All right, they got him a little bit loose, and that's going to kind of hurt their cause as the teammates are now lined up. Wise and Flanagan and Chris Walker, all 3 of the Jack Chuck cars in this race, top 3 on the outside line right now as they exit 2.
Yeah, bottom side surging though. Wyatt Gray. Oh, 2 around on the backside. Here goes the caution. Kasinger around hard into the wall. 2 more trucks hard into the wall.
Still wrecking back here. Just in case someone's backing into the wall up there. Let's see what we can take a look at right here. That's back to Kaiser again. Here's Tanner Kasinger. This wreck is already happening, as we can see right here. The overhead view. Looks like Josh Jambroni and Brian Hennings might have gotten into it.
Looks like Giambroni may have checked up there on the top side.
We see Jambroni up there in the Corona truck. Yeah, Mark Meth had nowhere to go. Jambroni's just going to spin down, clip the rear of Axel Smith, which might actually end up saving Jambroni right here. If he doesn't go up and over, he's going to go on his side right there. Look at Josh Jambroni. He's actually going to come back down. Clip Tanner Kasinger as Brian Hennings went back up the racetrack. Big hit into the left rear for Kasinger. Going to make him do a 360 and netcode the 75 up the racetrack. Brock Westmoreland navigating his way through right there. It's an interesting crash right here. I'm not at all certain of what just happened to Josh Jambroni right there. It's not something you usually see, like when you're just kind of by yourself checking up on the outside line. Maybe he was just trying to file in behind Mike Triscaro in front of Hennings, but he wasn't anywhere near. Again, that's kind of a strange move by Jambroni. Should be a good view right here. There's one in the wall and back. Here goes Jambroni down into it. He's going to go all the way on his side. I'll put it back down. Straight pace. He's going to get this one down to 75. Big hit to the outside wall. Wow, yeah, interesting wreck right there. But still, you know, that was a somewhat substantial crash, but still nothing crazy. Just interesting some of the moves that are happening tonight. You know, Greg Spiker thinking it was clear on Galati or whatever happened right there, and then Teresa Spiker, and now Josh Jambroni. It's kind of odd what's going on tonight. It's like people's been changing their field of views or everything in the car, Baker.
I mean, he's arguing with me saying that he was still in the gas. That is not what it shows on the screen.
No, it's you can visibly see
the pipes.
Flames, yeah, coming out right there. Still taking a look at the case view. Let's go on board with Josh Jambroni. See what's going on with him. He got away from this relatively clean for a truck that was on its side.
Yeah, didn't take any front end damage. Didn't take any toe damage. It just really awkward.
It was out of the blue, just a stop right here. Take this to the cockpit. Let's listen in really closely to his engine on this, because you could see the pipes flaming, and when that happens, that means throttle is being released. Like, there is something going on. But here we go. Let's take this onboard view. Oh, yeah. He was out of the throttle for a solid minute right there.
Yeah.
I think ultimately he was just trying to get in line right there, I would assume. Between the Michael Triscaro there and Brian Hennings, but just an odd move. Like, you know, yeah, you're going to the back and everything. The third line that you're in is kind of dying out. But at the end of the day, you can't be doing that. Michael Machado was a big hit on the outside wall of the neck right there. 38. Then back all the way down into the inside wall it appears and get it back going. Take it back live. There's Tanner Kasinger. Looks like he's pretty fixed up. That truck looks perfect to me. All fixed from that accident he just had. That's good to see that. As we said, Jambroni didn't have any damage really whatsoever to speak of in that. Just a wild ride going up on his side and managing to save it. Now I know he's one of those that has also switched to the infamous 210 wheel range. So that, I'm sure that helped him save that a little bit right there. Restack the field for you. Still the Jack Shack up front. Dawson Wise and David Flanagan, followed by Wyatt Gray. Chase Mastretta's found his way back to the top 5. Danny Barnes, Chris Walker, Heath Job, Stephen Miles, the other Nightmare eSports driver in this race. Sean Corbett fell back a little bit there. He's back in 9th. And then Christopher Melton still hanging at the back of the top 10 right there. He keeps trying to make moves out to the third lane. It's just not really working out. I don't know if that's lack of coordination, lack of temps. Who knows? It could be any number of reasons. But we're going to be coming back to the green for 18 laps to go here. After that,
really close on the fuel window.
Oh.
Really close on the fuel window right now. I think it's 17 laps. That's what we're showing. We'll take the green with 18 to go. So you may be seeing people ride here trying to make it, or who's going to try and get the track position. I think Triscaro's going to go up, try and get the track position, predict that caution's going to come out, and then come down and pit again.
And you would think with the fuel window being very tight, you'd think people would try and get single file and kind of lay back and save a little bit. But I doubt that's going to happen. This is a light series. Everyone's going to be trying to get up to the front. We're most likely going to have another yellow that's going to vanish any questions of fuel issues for anybody. Heath Job's on the apron down there trying to save as much as he can. Hyper Motorsports right there is lined up on the bottom. How about that? Danny Barnes, Heath Job, and Sean Corbett. That's good for them, but it's also kind of bad because they don't have anywhere to go unless they can all find a way to get up and kind of maneuver themselves up to the third lane at some point. That's definitely going to be something to watch. As Jack Shack, their third guy's kind of separated. He's got Chase Mastretta between them right there. But here we are. We're going to be coming back to the restart box right here. Dawson Wise, Dave Flanagan, going to lead him to the green. Count it down. Look for it to be another close start, and it is. I'm sure Dawson, as we said earlier, going to be counting down right there. Flanagan's actually going to beat Dawson to the line with a push from Mastretta. Lots of something's going on in the back right there. Haneyman's trying to make a move up front. Evan Carlbon in the back. Shout out to him. He's got his laps back on the lead lap, but he's just trying to find his way up here with his teammates. Dawson Wise is well clear of Dave Flanagan. Wyatt Gray is as well. Interesting to see if Gray wants to hop up in front of Flanagan. He's not going to. He's content where he is, maybe because of the fuel situation, Baker. Just stay where you are. When you're behind a truck, that means you can save more. But it looks like nobody else wants to save. R&R of Dalton Steele, Chris Melton making the third lane with Triscaro. Mike bails out of it. He says he don't want any part of it. He's going to go back to the middle. Richard Elliott and Luke Freeman are going to try and make something happen with Evan Carlbon in the middle. Coming to 17 laps to go here in the trial. Triscaro's still trying to suck back up to Chris Walker in the middle right there. Sean Hilkowitz, that's the name of there he is in the middle. He's about 5th, 6th on the middle lane now, right there, followed by Evan Carlbon. Good run for him. He's someone else that's pretty solid if you race with him like official races and stuff. He just has horrible luck right here. He's going to be 4th now as Triscaro goes up. So does Chris Walker. He's going to try and leave Chase Mastretta. And Jack Shack is leading all 3 lines right here as they head to 3. Oh, Dawson Wise loses his bumper, and he's going to go up and over. What a wild turn of events. Dawson Wise got his bumper ripped off and saved that. Well, he didn't save it. He got spun right there. That is interesting. There no other words for it. I assume it was a netcode issue or something. Just sucked his bumper off right there. Let's take a look at it. So we see Dawson Wise right here. He's being pushed by Wyatt Gray. And from what I saw on the live, it looked like his bumper just got ripped off. Sure enough, you see him kind of reversing into it. There goes the bumper, and he's going to get right hooked, but then a hit from Barnes into Gray is going to spin Wise around down to the apron, and he's going to go flying into the air. Do a little bit of a barrel roll right here, slide on his roof, but all things considered, probably get away with minimal damage right here. I know that's a crazy thing to say when you flip a race car. Just he needs his rear clip back. There's Ambrose Knable in front of him. He's sliding down right here. I'm sure this was a much bigger crash than what we initially saw. Right here, he's gonna tap it into the wall right there. He's getting away with one right there. It's unfortunate for Wise, as he was leading the line. He had all his teammates around him. And all that. Here's Luke Freeman as Wise is getting spun. He's gonna get hooked by Mark Mapp down into Richard Elliott. Big slap right there. Oh, wow. Big Jambroni, Haneyman, Knable up the track. This was a massive crash, but not see Major involved as well. Take this to a standard camera. The wreck's happening in front of these people. Yeah, Major's checking up right there, but Knable's going to come back on the track into Major, nose it into the wall right there. This was a massive crash, Baker. It's just everywhere you look, there's more trucks involved.
Huge wreck all over, and stuff going on under caution too. Josh Giambrone intent wrecking Raymond Hanneman under caution.
Oh, that's incredible. Let's we'll take a look at that. There's Josh Giambrone. Let's take it back live and see what's going on right there. So he's pitting right here. Everything's fine. Now we're having to back this up the slow way, everybody. I know, it just didn't say anything. Oh, sure enough. Oh, it looks like Handyman actually comes up to Jambroni and starts hitting him in the rear end. Yeah, he's targeting him right there. Still bumping him, still bumping him. Jambroni didn't appreciate it. He turns Handyman right there. Some good old beef going on in the chat. I have an idea, Baker. Tell me what you think about it.
My gosh.
Let's pull Josh Jambroni into the booth.
Oh, that is not a good idea. We're not going to pull him in here. He's going to
You
be
know
mad
what?
at me.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I forget race control. Yeah. Let's not do that. Is Handyman down here? You want to pull him in for an interview real quick? See what's going on.
Is he anywhere? There he is. Yeah, here. You can talk to him. Go ahead.
All right.
To 100.
Raymond Handyman, Landon Veleke, and Matthew Baker in the booth. Do you have a copy?
I got a copy.
So what was going on right there with you and Josh Jambroni? We saw some stuff going on under caution right there. What led to that?
Arca brakes. Gotta love when I just don't understand how I can slow down about 20-30 miles an hour faster than he can, and he's leading the line. I'm behind somebody. I was a little upset with that, and he didn't like that I tapped his back end, and he ended up spinning me.
Well, Arca braking is definitely a problem. No one disagrees with you on that front, but yeah, there's just some good old-fashioned beef we got going on in the Lite Series right now. Do you have any thoughts on this, Baker?
Yeah, just beef all around. Giambroni wanted to be race control for this race, but he's out here making me make calls against him, so hopefully he's a better race control than a driver when it comes to his temper, because holy shit, that was some crazy shit at the end there.
It's a bit unfortunate. He's able to race on still, and my truck's too much damage just by a little bit of contact. So I gotta thank the guys over Street Limit. Gotta thank the guys over Eternal Racing. Laughing Llama Rabs put on an amazing paint job. All the teammates in Street Limit, and gotta thank you guys, of course, tonight for putting on the broadcast like usual.
Yeah, absolutely. We hate to hear that, Raymond. You had a good run last week. That honey bun should still be en route. I know it's supposed to be there by now, but it's getting there. Trust me. But yeah, sorry to hear that. Come out next week, hopefully again, compete with us. Hopefully you and Jambroni can sort out your issues after the race. I'm sure that would be a very fascinating voice call to be a part
of. He's a 1.9 for a reason. We'll leave it at that for now.
Ooh,
and it's Raymond Hannon. Thanks for talking to us, man.
Thanks.
A little trash talk. We'd like to hear that right there in the booth. That is crazy speak from Raymond Hanneman, obviously displeased with Josh Jambroni. And honestly, I'm sure the beef isn't over. We've got, I mean, we're probably coming to 13 to go right here in the race. They're doubled up once again. Danny Barnes has taken the lead of this race. How about that? What a run for Danny Barnes. He is one of the guys, along with Devin Rave, that sponsored basically this entire series. So with all his little rewards every week, you know, like we mentioned that Baker was talking about earlier, Danny took a little break. I think he moved from Oklahoma to Jacksonville, Florida, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't have his rig put together or anything, but he is back, and back with a purpose. He is leading the race right now. Chris Walker alongside of him, with Dave Flanagan behind Walker, his Jack Shack teammate. Mike Triscaro is going to be pushing Danny Barnes here on the restart. What a run for Barnes. You definitely do enjoy seeing that. All these underdogs up here making a name for themselves. Into the restart box, we come for 13 to go. Danny Barnes is going to get a big jump on everybody right here. Going to gap the field by, looks like another car length, maybe even two. Chris Walker, though, is connected with his teammate, Dave Flanagan. And probably going to easily slide around right there because the bump Triscaro is going to give us going to be a little bit late and a little bit rough to Barnes. Walker's probably going to clear right here, as he does. Sure enough, he's going to clear to the bottom, and once again the Jack Shack show up front. Except this time it's not Dawson Wise, it's Chris Walker and Dave Flanagan.
Yeah, for Dawson Wise. Hopefully he got his bumper put back on. He's able to get back on track. Looks like he is still in the lead pack. Got his damage mostly repaired off, all that he could from flipping, but just can't believe his truck's still running after taking that big spill. But big push on the high side. White, Gray, you know, we talked about how great of a run he's been having these past couple weeks. He's going to push Flanagan clear. And look who is that? Is that Evan Garborn up towards the front? Yes, it is. We talked about it. Said he went a couple laps down. Same thing Triscaro did. Now he's pushing second in line on the top.
Yeah, they just decided to replace Dawson Wise, I guess, strategically with Evan Garborn. Here he is. It was all part of the plan, knowing them, I'm sure. The good run for them, obviously. I feel bad. I forgot Evan was in this race, honestly. I was in a call with him 2 hours prior saying he was going to race. And I remember mentioning there was only 3 guys. One of them was Dawson, but now he's out of the picture, at least for the moment. But Carbon's going to push Wyatt Gray clear to the bottom. And now this is going to be getting pushed. Pete Job is, where's some disagreeing going on of where who wants to be leading the outside line right there. What a block by Wyatt Gray on David Flanagan right there. That was extremely impressive. David Flanagan is no stranger to blocking contact between teammates right there on the bottom. It's like David got a little tunnel vision, and Wyatt went back down and made contact with him. They're all good. They sorted it out. But what a just controlled race right now by the Jack Shack.
Jack Shack doing a good job. The Wyatt Gray is controlling Jack Shack, putting Chris Walker and David Flanagan to sleep, rocking him back and forth, top to bottom. But Evan Carbon going to give a big push to Flanagan on that high side. A good looking red, white, and blue paint scheme with the yellow numbers looks really good down there. Michael Trascaro, he's going to back off. I'm going to think he's going to go up to the middle line. He does. He's going to shuffle up, try and get some track position. Oh, man, big block didn't work out, but now it's going to line up Brock Westmoreland and Michael Trascaro in the middle. Look for them to push 3 wide once they get a little more organization here.
Stephen Miles just bullied Greg Spiker out of the way. Good run for him. He was involved in that wreck earlier. He's back up here, but unfortunately, he's going to go to the back right there. Everyone's just trying to get up in that top. Oh, Jonathan Herbert, big hit in the back. Joey Galati's going to hit a ball right there at the end. What a camera cut that was. All of a sudden, Jonathan Herbert, ass end up into the air. What a wild shot that was. I'm probably looking more into that than there actually was, but that was impressive right there. Let's take a look at what happened this time. Jonathan Herbert is already in the air right there, flipping around. See what's going on. It looks like some contact here potentially between Herbert and Chris Melton. So Herbert's going to come up on Kasinger right there, give him a little bit of a bump, and Melton's just going to come down and hook Jonathan Herbert. Just I guess trying to get in the line with him, and he was not clear once again. And Galati, bam, right in the back of Jonathan Herbert. Going to send him airborne. That reminded me of Ben Kennedy's crash here in the real-life NASCAR Truck Series a few years back. So he's going to actually get away from this okay, it appears. Unfortunately, though, I'm going to assume for Joey Galati, nosing his car into the wall like that, let's see what happened to him. I mean, he didn't really have anywhere to go on this one, to be fair, for Galati. It's just the wreck began in front of him, and he's right behind it, trying to make a move to the outside line as Melton turns Herbert, and Galati just right into the back end. It's going to spin him down the track slightly, and then he's going to get loose and try and save it and nose it up into the wall right here. He might have got away from this all right. I was assuming engine damage. Oh, yeah, sure enough. Not a square hit on the nose, just on the right front. But that is going to be a lot of wheel damage, a lot of suspension damage for Joey Galati. It's going to be tough for him to come back from this one. Sure, Baker's dealing with RC issues at the moment.
This has been a busy night, let me tell you. Holy cow. The last one looks like it's going to go on Melton. Pretty cut and dry there. It comes down into the right rear of Jonathan Herbert. Gets him airborne again. We're really testing out these aerodynamic physics, and also testing my patience with all the black clears people are asking for.
Yeah, as drivers ourselves, you kind of got to cut them a break, Baker, because you know when you need a black flag cleared, you need it cleared then and there.
It's true.
Let's take a zoomed in look at Herbert of what was a wild ride. Lifted into the air right there from Joey Galati. But once again, he gets away somewhat okay. Maybe a little bit of wheel damage on the right front, potentially, but cosmetic-wise, his car looks all right. No, it doesn't. Never mind. He is turning right, and his car is going left. So, yeah, all right, that is a wrap for Jonathan Herbert's night, unfortunately. There's one more angle I want to get right here. Bear with me, because I think this one might be cool for y'all in the audience. Tanner Kasinger was right in front of this. If we can move up to him real quick, let's see what it looked like from his rear camera. As he's got Jonathan Herbert, obviously the nose right there, right behind him. take it live. Contact, spin, bam, into the air. But we've had our big crashes here tonight. That was not one of them. That was another somewhat tame one, if you can even call it that. You know, it's very interesting how races are always, they're so different. That's the craziest thing about this. You never know what to expect from a race. Because this one started clean, but now, you know, we're obviously getting into the end of it, and at least we're not wrecking up front yet. That did happen to Dawson Wise, but that was a netcode incident. I'm sure it's going to happen at this point. Baker, we need to pull someone in for an interview that I promised to give last week, and I forgot about it because that race was incredible and just all over the place. We're pretty distracted. I'm going to bring Evan Carlbon into the booth right here.
Nice.
See what he has to say about his race in P4. Evan Carlbon, it is Landon and Baker in the booth. Do you have a copy?
I do.
You were at least, what, 2-3 laps down, was it, at the beginning of the race?
4 at the most.
Issue?
Yeah, 4 at the most because my wheel was stuck to the left.
Well, is it still stuck to the left?
No,
okay.
It's pretty straight now.
I was about to say, that's pretty impressive. It's still up there. But, hey, you're all the way back up here with your teammates. Dawson Wise had to be sacrificed for that to happen. But here you are. David Flanagan and Chris Walker going to be leading the bottom. But you have Wyatt Gray as kind of that interesting piece in the middle. What are your thoughts going into the finish of this race and how you can shuffle out Wyatt Gray for you and your team's benefit?
I don't know. I would just keep it a straight wheel. The last 6 laps of this race, do what I can on the top maybe get one of my boys clear in front of me or behind me, then we can manage a third lane. It's all a bunch of variables when it comes to green flag run. You can talk about all this stuff, but you have to actually do it during the run.
Yeah, absolutely. Baker, do you have any questions for Mr. Carl Bond?
No, Carbone, get out there, get it done for the Shack, and get out there and win.
And I hope to put on a show, and so does the Shack.
All right. Well, Evan, last thing I'll tell you, I still don't appreciate that picture you selected, but well, Baker moved him out for some reason.
That's
anyway,
right.
I would say I don't appreciate the picture you have right there. But I kind of hope to see it in victory lane because I think that would kind of mean like both of us won the race in a way, in a roundabout way. So go out there, go win this thing for you and the Jack Shack. Good luck.
Thanks, buddies.
Yep. That was Evan Carlbon. Always a character in these races and just in general. He's definitely one of my favorite people out here in money racing. Got the lineup for you. Wyatt Gray, Chris Walker, Evan Carlbon, David Flanagan, Danny Barnes, Heath Jobe, Dalton Steele, Stephen Miles, Sean Corbett, and Brock Westmoreland is your top 10 as we are coming to 6 laps to go. As they head into the tribal, Wyatt Gray chose the top lane right here. Interesting move right there. Probably a beneficial one for him. He's going to get a jump right there. Big gap between Gray and Walker, but it didn't work for him. Walker's going to go up and side draft him. And I think this is going to be a cakewalk for Walker getting clear right here. Wyatt Gray, because not only do they have the run, but it's also Walker's teammate behind Wyatt Gray. Who, you know, he's going to push him, but probably a little bit less.
Yeah. You see Walker, he gets clear up to the top lane. Outside, there goes Brock Westmoreland and Mike Triscaro. I think the move's a little too early with the temps right now. Not anyone really going to follow. Triscaro's going to try and block that middle line to try and stop the progression and keep that third line going to see what kind of temps he can get woed up. But he just doesn't have the help he needs. Triscaro's cleared. He's going to probably try and check up, give Brock a little more room. But Brock is able to get to the outside. Still not able to gin up a run, though. They need more trucks here to get ginned up on that third line, but they're pushing 4 deep, both on the bottom and middle lanes right now.
Brock Westmoreland is desperate to get to that top line. He went up and down, now he's back up with Mike. But nobody wants to join him, like we said, except for Chase Mastretta, it looks like. And more contact back, Mark Vondell. It looks like he's actually going to get away from it clean. That's great. Mastretta with a push to Westmoreland right there. It's getting pretty wild up there on the third lane, but that absolutely killed Evan Carlbon. Right there. Oh, more contact. Heath, Jobe, and Brock can still get into it. Jobe's going to come back down to the track. They miss him. Back into Brock Westmoreland. That is... What just happened? They hit each other 3-4 times in a lap. And all of a sudden, there was more contact, and unfortunately, a crash happened. Oh, they're still wrecking up here. Pace car about killed Quentin Steinbach. Right there is. There's lots of damage going on. It looks like 46 is crab walking. Well, let's run it back, take a look at it. That was just a lot of activity going on right there between Job and Westmoreland. So we see Heath Job. He's already got a little bit of damage from the initial contact from him and Westmoreland. But they just were magnets to each other. They just kept hitting each other right there. I just can't get over that. But here we go. A little slow-mo view. Heath Job. Evan Carbon's riding pretty high on the third lane right here. I'm not really sure what's going on. Heath, it looks like maybe made an attempt to split him, and it's just a checkup. Brock had nowhere to go. Heath's going to spin it up, almost hit the wall. He's going to come back down, still in the process trying to save it. Barely missed Chase Mastretta. Back into Brock Westmoreland. Straight into the wall. You hate to see that, but let's take a look at Quentin Steinbach. Because I remember he was one of the guys involved in this wreck. So this is ahead of the crash. This is way ahead of the crash. Happens... Actually, Greg Spiker... Oh, there's some contact going on way up here. Between Axel Smith... Bam, big hit, right? What happened up here? We need to take a look at that. Because this isn't even ARCA braking at this point. This is like this is two separate incidents that happened. Okay. So that is Axel Smith. Tries to clear himself down and just wasn't cleared right back up to 38. Looks like Jeff Scott. Oh, this is Jeff Scott. Pardon me. That 00 right there. I'm not sure who that is. Got more involved. Yeah, so two separate incidents right here on this caution. Take it slow-mo one more time.
Yeah, looks like Matt didn't really check up in time after the caution was out. Got into Jeff Scott, who was the initial person who caused the wreck, and then got into Axel Smith to turn him around.
Yeah, that's just an interesting deal right here with the two separate incidents. I'm sure you just threw the caution when you saw a certain amount of cars going on, but I was assumed like that one with Westmoreland and Job probably wouldn't have even thrown a yellow because that was only two of them. But then we had this happening up here at the front. See Josh Jambroni right there, the back of the pack getting through it. Chase Mastretta's making an avoidance. Yeah, lots going on towards the end of this race, Baker.
Yeah, definitely. But you know, Jack Shack is still out here dominating. Evan Carbon, he's unfortunately towards the back now. Got caught up in that. I think he's around 14th or 15th now. Kind of out of it for the green-white checker, but David Flanagan, Chris Walker, White Gray doing a great job controlling this field.
Now, time out on that. I would never say anyone's out of this race.
That's true.
I mean, you could be 44th and have a chance to win this race on the last lap. Like, that's just super speedway racing in general. That's nothing to do with a light series or anything. It's just the nature of the game. But as you said, it is the Jack Shack up here. Now, this is not me making fun of the Jack Shack or anything with what I'm about to say, because their own Trevor Osmanoff has said this numerous occasions. The Jack Shack is the best at taking themselves out of races. Hopefully that does not happen here tonight, because they have dominated this race and controlled it, and they deserve to win this race. But this is the owner of the Jack Shack, according to him, that is one of their best habits, is wrecking themselves. Like I said, we don't want that to happen.
Whether it's running out of fuel and Dustin Carruthers back with the KSR boys, or Trevor Osmanoff, Nagel bomb in the field, what we used to call it, giving a little left rear hook towards his teammates on the last lap, coming to the checkered, you name it, Jack Shack or KSR, they've done it.
And now they kind of have a new group of guys. There's some of the old of KSR combined with the new, especially in this race, like Chris Walker, Trevor Osmanoff, Devin Ray, old KSR guys. Unfortunately, Stamper had to sell his rig off, and he's been taking a hiatus from it, and that's kind of how the Jack Shack formed. But you also have the new blood of David Flanagan and Evan Carbon, combined with like the Jared Haynes of the world. Jared's not here tonight, unfortunately. He's been doing good in this series as well. But shout out to them, especially David and Evan and Jared, from my own personal bias, because we were on a team together called OSM, and unfortunately that some things happened there, and then we all went our separate ways. But they've all find themselves back to where we all kind of started at the Jack Shack, and I'm still on Nightmare. No plans to leave that. Don't worry, Cody, if you're watching. I'm not leaving our team. But we have this setup right here. Dave Flanagan, Chris Walker, still up front, and honestly, in theory, this should be easy for them. The second it turns not easy is when an organized third lane comes and people start ditching mainly Chris Walker. Because on the inside line, David has it more easy right now. He can just kind of go, and his only threat is directly behind him. Chris, if they start ditching him, he really doesn't have anywhere to go. He just has to hope someone sticks with him when someone hops out in third lane, and he just doesn't get ditched. But here we go. This is, I believe, the first overtime attempt, or it might be a natural green-white checkered. I'm not sure. Dave Flanagan and Chris Walker are going to lead him to the restart box, followed by Wyatt Gray, Danny Barnes, Stephen Miles, Dalton Steele, Sean Corbett, Mike Triscaro, Asher Little, a new name in the series, and Tucker McClendon. Good run for him in PVG. Up to the line.
So start wrecking out back.
Oh, we're already wrecking. Quentin Steinbach, Brian Hennings. The yellow flag is immediately back out. That took no time in the world for that to happen. Let's take a look. It looks like Steinbach, Ryan Bowerboom involved as well. Glad you called that one out, Baker. That was... I thought we were about to finish the race, but...
Yeah, it too. Looks like Steinbach went from second to first. He was going from second to third, went to first.
A money shift, and Knable nowhere to go. Quick reflexes to try and miss him by Ambrose. Good job, but he still ends up clipping him. Look at Ryan Bowerboom's car. He's been crab walking this whole time. And he's just trying to get out of the way, but he's going to end up getting a little bit of netcode wreck right there. Steinbach's going to get T-boned and actually driven through right there. Axel Smith, not really anywhere to go there, and they're just going to hit themselves. Mark Math avoids it down at the bottom as Steinbach's going to get back in to that car right there. I can't make out the number on that car, unfortunately. But, yeah, so we had caution. We had about 2 seconds of green flag racing, which was thrilling, and then the caution.
It was so thrilling. Thrilling for the front half, but woo.
Let's take a look at this. This was Brian Kaiser. I apologize to Brian Kaiser. I did not recognize that paint scheme. It's a new name for me, a new paint, obviously, out here. He just didn't have anywhere to go. Another look right here at Steinbach kind of going through him. Let's go on board with Quentin Steinbach and see what he heard when he money shifted right there. You hate to call it that, but at the end of the day, that is what that is. Oh, it just... That was a very odd sound, and it might just be because we're not actually driving the cars, and it could just be audio differences. But the engine didn't explode, as you can still hear it on right here. And it didn't hit the chip. You know, it didn't like over rev or do anything like that. That's kind of an odd look. Or an odd sound, I should say, for Quentin Steinbach right there. But it doesn't matter. He did just kind of stop, and that kind of leads to a misshift or something of that nature. First time, yeah, he just stops right there, nowhere able to go. Hennings involved. Axel Smith. Brian Kaiser once again. Well, that was a very quick caution. Not really much more to take a look at right there. I want to see if we can probably get one more interview before the end of this race. Take a look through here and see who would we want to pull up. You know what? I got an idea, Baker. Let's pull Sean Corbett up.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one to pull up for sure. Let's see, where's he at?
I'm trying to grab him. He's way down there. Sean Corbett, it is Landon and Baker in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy, Chief.
Well, you've had a good run so far, not only in this race, but also in the Lite Series in general. How do you feel about your chances here at the end of this thing with P8?
Man, I'm trying to hold on and keep it together. Fell back early, and just sometimes just having the first pit stall just kind of sucks. I don't know if guys are taking a little bit less gas. I was just falling back, lost a lot of spots, but I'm trying to hold on, just get some points, and stay alive. avoid this mess that's going on out here.
Well, you're doing a great job, and honestly, a lot of the wrecks haven't really been happening up front, like in the top 10, except for like maybe 1 or 2. It's just kind of stuff going on in the back. But you know how this is. You've raced long enough that come to the end of it, anything can happen, for good and for bad. But
That's why I practice so hard to get my qualifying up the last couple months, man. Because up front, stay up front. You could leave that stuff behind. Because I used to not qualify or get in a mid, and I just was the truck magnet or car magnet. I was getting in it all the time, man.
yeah, absolutely. Well, Baker, do you have any questions for Mr. Corbin?
No, I just want to say how impressive it is that you found something in qualifying that no one else has found, not even Cody or maybe Kyler, but you're right there within the thousandths of them, and it's giving you the track position that you deserve. And hopefully you can go out here and try and steal one.
Yeah, I mean, qualifying is one thing, but, finishing the race and staying up there is another. So I'm working on it the best I can, but I appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir. Well, shout out to Sean Corbett, but I have a question for you, Corbett. What's that horse up to? Is it she? I think it's a she, if I'm not mistaken. Is she watching you race right now?
No, I got Luca, my Frisian, left. I lost one, and now I've got a replacement. I've got a miniature donkey that now comes in my office. I'll show you one night my little new miniature donkey that comes in here running around.
Well, sounds good, Sean. Thanks again for coming in for an interview. Go out there and try and win this thing.
All right, guys.
That was Sean Corbett, currently sitting in P8 in this race. He's just a trip, ain't he, Baker? He's like we said, he's one of our favorites.
Yeah, for sure. Good guy, good stand-up guy, and he's got he's gonna be starting on the outside here, 4 rows back from the lead. Chris Walker Flanagan again trying to try and control this one, and Wyatt Gray, he's happy with another podium finish. It'll be his 3rd podium finish in a row. He'll take a commanding points lead if he can finish where he is right now. Michael Triscaro going to try and cut into that points lead, see what he can do, but he'll be trapped on the bottom here as we're going into 3 and 4.
Well, not only can Wyatt Gray get that commanding lead from his finish tonight, Austin Green, who's one of his main opponents, at least from the first race, and he kind of had issues last week. He getting wrecked in almost every wreck, it seemed like, but he was one of his main competitors. He's not here tonight. So it's just Wyatt Gray, I would assume, kind of locked into the points lead right now in race number 3 for the new PGR Lite Series. The setup is just about the same. Chris Walker's the leader, and he has chosen the top lane. He expects to get a push from Wyatt Gray down to the bottom so he can clear his teammate Flanagan, and they can go forward and control this race. I would assume if they get clear, David would then hop up, and so they could just continue controlling the lanes. But Wyatt Gray is probably going to try and split them at some point because he wants to win this race. Chris Walker, David Flanagan in the restart box. Here we go, Green, once again to try and round out this race. It is a little bit of a jump for Walker, as we expected. Wow, actually, way better start for David than I expected. Wow, I'm sorry, I'm kind of speechless. I did not expect that. Stephen Miles has found his way up here. Good for him. For Nightmare Esports, he's going to be 3rd on the top right there. As Asher Little ditches the top lane and Sean Corbett, then now Tucker McClendon's going to hop up and work with Sean Corbett, see if they can make something happen here. Going to right, big move by Triscaro right there.
Good move by Triscaro there.
Really smart as they hit the 3.
Hey, you're going to look for Triscaro to get a push from Corbett here. Maybe go top of 3 wide if he gets a chance here. But pushing 2 by 2. Not much organization on the bottom. They only have 4 trucks lined up. It's enough for right now. But they have about 5, 6, 7, 8 trucks all tandem pushing on the top side.
Chase Mastretta's hooking Mark Vondell on the back. There they go. Big hit for Heath.
Oh, and they couldn't throw the caution.
Oh, yellow flag knocked him out. We're still racing right here. David Flanagan and Chris Walker into turn 1. I expected yellow flag right there. Flanagan's going to clear up in front of Walker. How about Danny Barnes? He's going to try and get his run of this with a push from Dalton Steele out of turn number 2, Baker. Well, I'm sure he's getting complained at right now by everyone for not throwing a yellow. Anyway, we're back to the front. Flanagan and Barnes going to be leading, trying to make something happen right here. Mike Triscaro just ditches Steve Miles on the top. Not really sure why he did that for his own sake of trying to lead this race. But Jack Shack's looking... They got to get something organized real quick because Danny Barnes is about trying to run away with this thing. He's going to get hooked by Dalton Steele. He's going to turn him. Danny Barnes is going to get hooked. And now Steele's getting hooked. And it's just going to be a walk away for the Jack Shack. Chris Walker's getting hooked by Wyatt Gray. Big, actually, a photo finish right there. But David Flanagan is going to win the race. That was a crazy turn of events right there. You just got a feel for Danny Barnes just getting hooked out of the lead like that when he had a shot to win. But David Flanagan is your winner, followed by his teammate Chris Walker. And Wyatt Gray rounds out the podium. Sean Corbett brings it home in 4th. With Mike Triscaro, another solid finish for him in P5. We got a lot to look at right there, Baker. I'm going to take this all the way back.
Yeah, you're gonna have to cover this yourself because I got a lot to.
Oh, that's all good. He's got the job none of us want right now. So, let's take a look at what originally happened. This is Tucker McClendon, but I believe this originated with Chase Mastretta and Mark Vondell getting into it. But I want to focus on Heath Job because it looked like Heath took a wild hit into the catch fence, if I'm not mistaken. Bring this up to a chopper cam. So Chase tries to split the middle, and then Vondell just kind of comes down into Chase. It looks like a little bit of contact between him and Mastretta. Heath Job gets hooked into Tucker McClendon, and he's going to take flight. Evan Carlbon's going to lift him up further into the air, and he's going to hit the catch fence right there. And everyone's just going to ride up into the wall. It's a shame for Evan Carlbon. He had a good run. Like when we were talking to him, he was up there in P4, and then third lane didn't work, and now he gets trapped back here where this sort of stuff happens. Dawson Wise big into Mark Vondell right there. Let's take this back one more time. Take us to another view. Yeah, just some hits kind of gone wrong right here. A little miscommunication. Joe big hit into the fence. Greg Spiker, Evan Carlbon, Dawson Wise, but not too major. Lots of guys involved in this one. But then Danny Barnes got crashed. Let's take this further up to him. So this is the final lap of the race. It looks like Danny Barnes has a chance to win this thing. He's getting a push from Dalton Steele. And I would have assumed that Steele didn't really want to... He didn't want to hook him. He's just, you know, he's probably just content to ride where he is. And take this another overhead view. See what happened to them out of 4. Little offset pushing gone wrong. It just hits Barnes, and then he tries to clear back down. Danny Barnes right through the pit lane. He's going to save it to his credit. Never mind. He's going to spin it back up. Catch a little air. Wow! Big hit. Chris Melton into Danny Barnes. As there was more wrecking going on, I believe, with Dalton Steele towards the end of this, because it's like everyone got spun here at the end of this race. So Steele turns Barnes, and it looks like Asher Little is then going to hook Dalton Steele. Trying to make a move right there. He's going to get airborne big hits at the outside wall for Little and for Kasinger. There's Danny Barnes and Melton out of nowhere. Roll this back one more time and include the Barnes crash in this one. But this right here just guaranteed a win for the Jack Shack, because the bottom line, just so much disorganization on the bottom, not a lot of coordination going on. Just hands the win to the Jack Shack basically at the line. Let's play this through one more time. So Barnes is going to get right hooked and then left hooked. But then Steele's going to get hooked by Little, and they're just going to fly right up into the wall. Kasinger found his way back in the front. Wow, Josh Jambroni. Another wild accident for him coming to the end of this thing. Oh, Mike Triscaro, as we see, this is after the line. We got parts flying everywhere. Debris is all over the place. See this from Jambroni. Here comes Danny Barnes sliding right up like a cruise missile, and then bam, Jambroni ramps off of Tanner Kasinger. He's going to cross the line on his side. More so. And then let's take a look at this finish, because this looked like a really close finish between the Jack Shack teammates going for it for themselves. Right there at the line, David Flanagan barely gets Chris Walker ahead of Wyatt Gray. Just so much going on right there at the end of this race. Take back live. Let's pull up your finishing results right here. David Flanagan Then Chris Walker, as we said, for the Jack Shack, a good run for them tonight. They deserve to win this race. They went out there, they dominated it, and they won. Wyatt Gray is going to finish in P3. Sean Corbett, 4th place tonight. Michael Triscaro, 5th. Stephen Miles, 6th. Dalton Steele, 7th. Asher Little in 8th. Chris Melton, 9th. Mark Math will finish 10th. Tanner Kasinger in 11th. Brian Hennings for Team PGR in 12th. Ryan Wingate, 13th. Axel Smith, 14th. Richard Elliott, 15th. Jonathan Herbert, 16th. Manatsi Major finally gets a somewhat solid run in 17th. Greg Spiker in 18th. Let's take it down to 19th place real quick. Ambrose Knable, another solid run for him, actually, at the end of this race. Good for him in P19. Tucker McClendon will be 20th. Mark Vondell, 21st. Evan Carlbon in 23rd. Or 22nd, excuse me. Dawson Wise, 23rd. Couldn't come back from his little flip he had right there at the end of that race. Edward Fiedler, 24th. Josh Giambroni, 25th. Danny Barnes, 26th. Heath Job, 27th. Chase Mastretta rounds out in 28th. 29th will be Quentin Steinbach. Ryan Bowerboom, 30th place tonight. Luke Freeman, 31st. Jeff Scott, 32nd. Kenneth Gallman, 33rd. Brock Westmoreland, 34th. Brian Kaiser, 35th. Joey Galati, 36th. Sean Hilkowitz, 37th. He had a look at a good finish tonight earlier in the race. Got taken out. Raymond Hanneman, 38th. 39th place tonight will be Robert Blair, Michael Machaca, 40th, Teresa Spiker, 41st, James Wagner, 42nd, James Waring, 43rd, and Wesley Lynch rounds out the field in 44th tonight. Well, a crazy finish here tonight.
To say the least. Crazy finish.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see if we can get your top 3 in for interviews.
Got them right here. We can start with our 3rd placeman. That is Wyatt Gray. Hey, Wyatt, this is Matt and Landon up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, another week, another podium. Talk to me through staying through the chaos. It looked like you were pretty content there, pushing both the lines. You were controlling them at one point, but then you kind of fell back in the lines, and you were able to give a good push to Flanagan and Walker there both evenly and get them the 1-2 finish that they got and the podium that you deserved. Talk to me through your mindset through these races, because it seems to be the same as just to stay up front.
Yeah, I've just been trying to stay up front and not really be too aggressive, but make the moves I need to make to keep myself up there, so at least I can stay in the cash every race, even if I'm not winning and getting good point stays.
Well, a good finish for you, and another week. Next week we've got the next gen coming up. It's a different beast, but I know you're pretty well versed in the next gen. So, anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out Mike, Tucker, Josh, and Chase. We're working together there.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us, Wyatt. This is your 3rd place finisher, Wyatt Gray.
Yep.
P2 tonight was Chris Walker for the Jack Shack. We'll talk to him real quick. Chris Walker, Landon Baker in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's up?
Well, that was a good run for you and your team tonight by far. I mean, y'all dominated this thing, and you came away with a 1-2 finish. You almost got your teammate David right there at the line. So talk me through it. How did y'all go out here and just dominate this race? What was y'all's plan going in, and what are your thoughts on your finish?
Man, I don't know. I just go by lap, but no, it's a pretty good deal. I'm super pleased with it. So I told David if he cleared up, just do it on the last lap. That's it, because I ain't lifting after that point. So, and it worked out in the end.
Well, yeah, just a great run for y'all right there. Is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Obviously the Jack Shack brother. But other than that, that's about it.
Well, there. Short and sweet interview right there from Chris Walker. Shout out to him for his P2 finish tonight.
Yeah, thank you boys for doing this. Thanks for giving us a place to race on Mondays too, so we appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Your winner tonight was David Flanagan. We'll pull him into the booth real quick. David Flanagan, Landon, and Baker in the booth. Do you have a copy?
What's up, Landon? What's up, Baker?
Well, we just talked to Chris, and it's basically going to be the same thing right here. What a run for y'all tonight. Y'all dominated this thing, and y'all came away 1-2 with it. Did you have any plans going into this one, or just any sort of new things to work on, new coordinations, just anything like that? Because y'all went out there and just kind of didn't really have any threats there at the end.
It was definitely in my mindset of a must win. First week finished like 36. Last week finished like 26. So it was like, yeah, I need to win. So it was all in the cards there. I don't know. I just wanted to run up front all race and give myself the best shot, and that's what it ended up happening.
My gosh, did you expect Chris Walker to try and take the win from you right there at the end? I was kind of thinking y'all would just kind of ride together and take your 1-2 and stay in line, but he tried to take that thing from you, and he was 19 thousandths away from doing it.
I think it was more of he was just trying to block Wyatt there, make sure that he didn't take second from him. Even if he did try and push me right there, we got a little upset right there just from everybody pushing right there. I think he would have turned me accidentally. So I'm actually glad he took it, and even if he would have won it, it would have sucked, but oh well.
Absolutely. Baker, you got any questions for your winner?
No, just congratulations on that number 5 Jack Shack. Doing the number 5s proud out here, and glad to see one of our supporting sponsors get out here and get a win. So congratulations to you, and congratulations to Jack Shack for locking you guys self in the championship. Hopefully you can get Walker in next week in the next gen.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Dawson too. He was up front the whole race, and some unfortunate netcode took him out there. So I feel for you, man. But we'll go out and get him next week. Hopefully push him or any of the other boys that haven't won yet for the Jack Shack to the win.
Gotcha. Anyone else you'd like to thank or shout out in this win you had here tonight?
Yeah, and definitely everybody over at Jack Shack. Trev, thanks for helping me. Deb, I know you're watching at work. My friends over at Chrome Racing, thank y'all boys, and thanks for putting on the broadcast, and thanks for RCing and putting up with us. Baker.
Yes, sir. And that's your first place finisher, David Flanagan. Thanks for talking to us, bud.
Yep. Y'all have a good night.
Well, that was. I have a weird feeling about that one, Baker. That race was different. There's something different about that race. It was cleaner, but also just so many different things going on towards the end of it. It was hard to keep up with.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to go off of. But we had 44 trucks out here tonight brawling, and it looked good early, but once the cautions started happening, it just bred more cautions. But you're going to see next week, it's going to be a whole different style of racing. But it's going to be ramped up even more. The runs are going to be bigger. The side draft's going to be harder, and you're going to see a lot of teamwork to try and get to the front and get a win.
Oh yeah, Baker just made mention of next week. Next week is the next gen cars for the PGR Lite Series, and those, if you've watched our Intimidator series races with them, they're unique races. They're not a difficult car, but it's such a different style of racing, and how you have to race those things is so unique to like that car and like kind of the Gen 6s in a way. The side drafts are so strong. It's very much numbers heavy. You need a team behind you basically if you want to succeed with it, or if you're just a master at your craft with those cars. But yeah, next week, race number 4 of this season of the Lite Series will be the next gens at, is it Talladega, Baker, or Daytona?
It'll be Daytona and then Talladega.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. So tune in next week for race number 4 in the next gen cars, the Cup cars. These guys are going to try and tackle next week. I'm sure we're going to have a wild turnout for that one, because everyone seems to come out of the woodworks for those cars. They love them. People have mixed feelings on them. I'm definitely one of those. But congrats again to Dave Flanagan and the Jack Shack for their domination of this race tonight. And another great run for Wyatt Gray. I think we've interviewed him every week so far. He's going out here. He doesn't race often, like we said, but when he does, he is a threat for the win every week. Shout out to him and everyone else that came out once again on this kind of Christmas edition of the PGR Lite Series. Any final thoughts before we head out, Baker?
No, just from PGR, from Mike, myself, Landon, Dawson, Austin. I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and hope everyone has safe travels. And we'll see you coming up next week. We're gonna have, not next week, the Thursday, day after Christmas. We will have our last race of the year to try and get people locked into the PGR Championship, and then next week we'll have the PGR Championship on Thursday night, and then that Monday we will have the Lite Series back at Daytona in the next gen. But we're going to be running the Gen 6 cars at Talladega for that PGR Championship. It's going to be a big race.
Heard it here first. That'll be our car for the championship race. A lot of the big names you'll know will be in that race, going to be fighting for that championship. Shout out to Baker again for what he has to deal with on a weekly basis, not just in the Lite Series, but also in the Intimidator Series when race controlling. That is something that is definitely something that takes some passion to do and some patience along with it. Shout out to him. Shout out to everyone else at PGR. Come out for the PGR 500. Go get yourself signed up for that. And for Matthew Baker and everyone else involved in this, I'm Landon Veleke. Merry Christmas to everyone. To all, a good night. And we will see y'all next week for race number 4.
Oh, God.